Mussorgsky was unfortunately one of those composers who was not very disciplined towards his work, and he was such a genius composer, and he was such a great composer, but some of his work would just, he did not appreciate it very much. He was very looking down at his work, so the other extreme of being very proud of it, he was almost like, oh yeah, whatever I wrote is not so important. And I think his talent was so huge that for him every music he wrote he didn't take it seriously. So, and a lot of the colleagues around him, like Rimsky-Korsakov and people like Liadov, they always try to keep his music alive by orchestrating it. So maybe he was so ahead of time. Mussorgsky was definitely 100 years living too early for his time. He was a visionary. That's why the harmonies, for example, he composed in Boris Godunov, Rimsky-Korsakov criticized him, saying, this is wrong, this is not following the rules of harmony. But then 50 years later, 100 years later, everybody is composing in this, using the same harmonies. And so he was leaving too early, not in his time. And in order to present to public more of his music, because it deserves to be known, not just pictures at an exhibition, or the operas which are very well known, Boris Godunov, Khovanshina, so it's nice to see how composers like Liadov pay tribute, homage to somebody like Mussorgsky to make his music to live and alive. I think that Liadov was a great orchestrator, and as we know from 3 symphonic poems, which together with the NHK Symphony we already performed, he is a great instrumentalist. And Sorochinsky Fair obviously means, it's a carnival, it has to have a great bright spirit and a lot of good character and fun. And I think that's how he tried to interpret the music and orchestrate it. In this, how he thought Mussorgsky would like to hear it. Using his own incredible ways of orchestrating it, Liadov. This is not the first time I'm working with Goko-san. The very first time I met Goko-san was in one of my previous visits to an NHK Symphony. He was presented to me by Maro-san, is a great violinist, a concertmaster, former concertmaster of an NHK Symphony, whom I respect very, very much. And I thought this was quite an interesting discovery, I think, by NHK Symphony, by Maro-san, and I thought this guy is very young, but he has incredible generosity towards the music, generosity towards his colleagues when he's leading in the orchestra, but at the same time very humble, very musical. I think it's just one of those people who is absolutely natural. He doesn't look for something. He just, if he plays Mozart concertante with his colleague, he feels as natural as he's leading Prokofiev Romeo and Juliet in the orchestra, or when he plays as a soloist. So I thought using him for something very special, like Bartók violin concerto, very difficult concerto. He has incredible technical abilities and natural musicality which this concerto needs. So I'm really, really looking forward to a collaboration with Goko-san on Bartók violin concerto. For me, what is important in this program, that we take someone like Dvořák, who is a very proud Czech national, who tried to develop Czech music, take it, introduce to the world this Eastern European Slav music. And then you have somebody like Bartók, who in a way is also very, I don't want to use the word nationalistic because today it has a very negative connotation, but somebody who loves his country and feels passionate about his people music, folkloric music. A lot of this, Dvořák and Bartók, the music comes from simple people, folklore. It's not aristocratic music. That's why it has such a deep meaning to people. And to see how such a long period apart, how these two composers in two different countries developed their own, in Eastern Europe, Eastern European, how they developed their own unique language to completely different styles. This probably what makes this program for me especially interesting. Because on its own, Dvořák's 8th Symphony is a wonderful symphony. But how you juxtapose it to Bartók, who is also basing his music on this love for his country, for his people, for his melodies. I don't want every orchestra to play Dvořák 8 as it plays Vienna Philharmonic, because that's what makes the great orchestras, makes them great. They are not like one another. And that's what makes my life as a conductor interesting, because I meet different personalities. I can interpret the music differently with different orchestra. It's a wonderful gift we conductors have, if one is looking for this. I think what I'm imagining what NHK Symphony will enjoy is these beautiful melodies, a beautiful structure of the symphony, but also the charming sense of humor, which is not sarcastic, which is not ironic. It's just this type of humor which makes you smile in this symphony. It's quite different from the 9th or from the 7th, which is quite Brahmsian symphony, and very melancholic, slow movement, very famous slow movement of this symphony. So it will be, I think it's just perfect for character of the NHK Symphony.